and white supremacy does what it can to protect itself. This is like the end of Reconstruction. What we are witnessing is not some abnormality. I was wearing a sweatshirt with the words "Catalyst for Change, Shirley Chisholm for President 72" on it. I wondered to myself how things were going in the timeline in which Chisholm had won that election. I spent the rest of the night drinking with a friend, both of us sobbing as it was called in Wisconsin. 2 days after Trump won, I was in Oakland and found myself standing across the street from the building that was meant to be the next Uber headquarters, supposedly a sign of progress and revitalization, watching as images of the president-elect were projected onto its unfinished white siding. If I were a different kind of writer, this might be the point where my dystopian novel begins. But I've never had a flair for fiction and can only say to you, forlorn, that this dystopian vision was all too real. 3 days later, in a hotel room in Chicago, I was alone and listening to A Tribe Called Quest's new and last album, saddened again as I thought about the passing of Phife Dawg, hyped to hear what hip-hop's greatest group would provide as its final offering. I was ready to declare it a classic as soon as I heard the hook for the first track, Space Program, which goes, "There ain't no space program for niggas. Yeah, you stuck here, nigga." Now when my mind calls up the memory from Oakland, it fills in the silence left between police sirens with these lyrics. Because here is wherever I am, wherever we are. Whether we are talking about Oakland, where 40 years apart the police killed little Bobby Hutton and Oscar Grant, with plenty more in between, or Chicago, where they closed 49 public schools in one cruel swoop, or New York City, where I now call home and where, for the first few years I lived there, I perhaps knew best from the vantage point of a protest. We are always here because there is no there, where our destruction has not been carefully planned. There is no place where we have not been marked as other, where our otherness has not been used to justify our exploitation, and where our lives have not been defined by the limitations placed on them by whiteness. You stuck here, nigga. In the run-up to November 8, 2016, I heard good liberal white folks promise, or maybe they thought of it as a threat, to move to Canada in the event that Trump won. I would nod politely and think to myself, how quaint, yet another move they plan to hijack from black people. But it must be nice to know there is a place you can go where you will be free. The police create niggers in Canada the same as they do here. I wonder if any of the good liberal white folks thought of any ideas for where we could go to escape. Of course not. It has never truly been their concern. The good liberal white folks hardly even acknowledge that we have any cause for concern until one of us throws a trash can through a window, or flips over a car, or lights a gas station on fire. Only then do they seem to care, but not so much about us or the conditions that produce such anger, but more so about chastising our inability to be civil. The good liberal white folks tell us there is a resolution to our grievances that can only be achieved if we are willing to put aside our anger, frustration, pain, grief, and despair and trade them for what exactly isn't clear. Neither the emotions nor the facts of our condition persuade many of them that our lives are worth saving, so I remain unsure and increasingly uninterested in determining what will. No matter the method we choose to fight back, they are ready to chastise us. Our op-eds are too angry, our organizations too militant, our political demands too divisive, our votes wasted. Then they call our rebellions riots and ask why we tear down our own neighborhoods, and I think what they really mean to say is don't mess it up any further before we have a chance to take it from you. The irony is that after November 8, 2016, the good liberal white folks got good and mad, and they had no idea how to go about being mad. Their resistance marches have proudly boasted their lack of disruption, while any conservative with even a tepid critique of the Trump administration has been branded a hero. They are, these resistance liberals, for the first time legitimately frightened of what the present and future hold for them, and they are not sure where to turn. They have since been in mourning for the loss of their America, where it was promised that hard work and determination would grant upon anyone who desired it the opportunity for a better life. This America has always been a fiction, and had they bothered to listen to us, to the pain they have always readily dismissed as misplaced rage, they would have known this was coming. Trump was inevitable, and the evidence of his rise was sitting right there. I don't intend to be